Hello students, welcome to the biology class. I hope you all are doing great and you're interested in attending today's class. So let us start today's class. So before we begin the class, I have a question over here. The question is, why large organisms need a transport system? So here you can see some examples of large organisms like elephant, man, there is a big tree, bird, tortoise and a squirrel. Now all these are multicellular organisms. Some are very huge in nature. Now all these multicellular and big organisms or large organisms, they need a transport system. Why do they need a transport system? Are you curious to know the answer? Yes, right? So let us know the answer. Now, in our daily life, we do so many activities. And to perform all these activities, we require energy. And we get energy by having food. So when we have our food, the food gets completely digested in the intestine. That is in the small intestine. Now, all these nutrients which is obtained during digestion is not just required to the small intestine. It should be supplied to the various other cells present in the different parts of the body. The nutrients on its own, it cannot reach the different cell, right? So there is a requirement for a system to carry these nutrients and supply it to the various cells present in different parts of the body. And if just nutrients reach the cell, it is not sufficient. To get energy from these nutrients, we require oxygen. So that means oxygen should also be supplied to all the cells. And what happens after oxygen is reached? Yes, cellular respiration takes place and energy will be liberated. Along with this energy, we should not forget, along with this energy, even the metabolic waste like carbon dioxide is also generated. Now, if this carbon dioxide remains within the cell or in its surrounding, it can become toxic, right? So there is a necessity to remove this toxic substances from the cell surrounding and take it to its particular area from where it can be eliminated. And all these activities will be done by the transport system. So today let us understand what is this transport system, what are its components and how it works. So the transport system we are talking about is nothing but the circulatory system. So here is the human circulatory system. So let us learn about the human circulatory system. We refer this human circulatory system as cardiovascular system. The another name for circulatory system is cardiovascular system, and it includes heart, blood and blood vessels. So the entire circulatory system consists of heart, blood vessels and blood. Heart is the organ which pumps the blood. Blood is carried by the blood vessels within the blood vessels, and blood contains all the nutrients, metabolic waste which is required to the various parts of the body. Now the circulatory system present in human is considered as a closed circulatory system. So meaning closed means always the blood flows within a network of closed vessels, that is between artery, veins and capillaries. And this kind of circulatory system is called closed circulatory system. Only the components, nutrients and other things filter from the capillaries and reach the extracellular fluid. So always the blood remains within the blood vessels. So we refer this kind of circulatory system as closed circulatory system, and this is seen in humans and other vertebrates. Now, so the functions of circulatory system would be, so it helps the function of circulatory system would be, so it supplies oxygen to various parts of the body. All the cells which is present in every corner of the body requires oxygen. So this oxygen will be supplied by the cardiovascular system. Along with that, nutrients will be supplied, respiratory gases like oxygen is supplied, and at the same time carbon dioxide and nitrogenous metabolic waste will be collected from these cells and taken to the respective organs from where it can be eliminated. Carbon dioxide will be removed from the lungs and nitrogenous metabolic waste will be removed by the kidneys. And along with that, the blood carries chemical signals such as hormones to the various parts of the body. Now, these are the functions of the circulatory system. Now, let us consider about the circulatory system components, that is heart, blood vessels and blood. So let us learn about each of the components in detail. So first we'll begin with the blood. So blood consists of two things. So blood, when centrifuged, it gets the components of the blood get separated based on its size and the mass. So it has got two components, plasma and cellular elements. So 55% of the blood is composed of plasma and remaining 45% of the blood is composed of cellular elements. So here what we see, this region, blood, and above this there is a whitish layer which is called as cellular elements together, and the straw color or yellow color fluid is called the plasma. The components of plasma are, it contains water, ions, proteins and other substances which is present in trace amount. So let us see what are these other substances later. Now on the other hand, the cellular elements, or also it is called as formed elements, includes the cells present in the blood. They are leukocytes, also referred to as white blood cells, WBC. So normally in an individual there will be around 5,000 to 10,000 cells per millimeter cube of blood. And erythrocytes, they are referred to as red blood cells. So here erythros means red and cytes means cells. So erythrocytes are around 5 to 6 million per millimeter cube of blood. And similarly leukocytes means, leuco means it is colorless and cytes means blood. So we also refer to them as white blood cells. And the last one is platelets. So platelets are not the real cells, they are fragment of cells, they are broken fragment of cells. So these will be around 250,000 to 4 lakh per millimeter cube of blood. So these are the components of cellular elements. Now let's learn about each component in detail. So first one is plasma. So 55%, the majority of the blood consists of plasma, and we have learned that plasma contains water, ions, proteins and other substances which is present in trace amount. Now water is a major component of the plasma. It acts as a medium for carrying the substances. So it is a solvent in which the other substances are carried. The next component is ions. So various kinds of ions are present in the blood: sodium, potassium, magnesium, zinc. Now all these ions helps in maintaining an osmotic balance and the blood pressure. To maintain an osmotic balance and blood pressure, ions are required. And proteins are present, three different kinds of proteins: fibrinogen, antibodies and globulins. So fibrinogen, they are required to form a clot. Suppose there is